Welcome back. You're watching us here on Halftime Report. This is the commodity segment, so which is why we have Manisha with us as well. But before we, go across to Peter Maguire and Manisha speaking about commodities, we'll welcome Peter Maguire. And Peter, there's a googly coming at you because I just wanted to know how chuffed you are after chasing 351 against England on Saturday, and what do you fancy your chances against South Africa are? And don't you tell me that you'll win against India as well in the Champions Trophy. Don't you say that.
Well, I just said good morning. I just think there's so much interest as far as the cricket. We're a nation, we love it, and I've got to say that I'm feeling fairly confident. The whole framework as far as our sporting environment, we're very devoted Aussies, and I don't know how we're going to go against India. Let's say the best team wins, but I feel as though we're fairly confident against South Africa.
Well, we'll strike gold at the Champions Trophy, but until then, we'll hand it over to Manisha to speak about gold.
Thank you so much for that, guys. Peter, for a moment, I thought I would never get to speak to you with these guys wanting to talk cricket to you all the time. But
I love cricket.
I can see that, and these guys totally share it with you. But coming to gold prices, and we definitely have all-time highs onto this one. So what's your sense on this? Because we're making higher highs at this point in time, and most people believe that 3,000 will come faster before 2,800 comes in.
Exactly. Lovely to see you, Manisha. I think it's got that overall momentum. We've seen the US dollar, it's come under a push to the downside back at that 10, there's a screen, 106.62. I think, 32.50 has got to be the real handle that everyone's really focused on. And I feel as though 3,000, very much achievable. May knock it out this week, Manisha. There's softness as far as many of the asset classes. There's no real dollar to be earned across energy. And gold seems to be on a one-way track. And maybe that US dollar's got a little bit further softness to the downside.
So, Peter, what's your sense then? If we do cross above that 3,000 mark, we clearly would be in an uncharted territory then. Where do you see resistance coming in, or where do you see targets then forming?
Everything you look at, Manisha, 32.50 is the handle, and if it breaks that, then it's really skybound. So I'm not sure where you're going to look at as far as a ceiling, but possibly 3,500's got to be on the target. And the rapid rate of change has been so significant over the last 12 months, just electric. And putting our mind back to October of 2024 or 2023, we were well down, 1,800. Now you're nearly at 3,000. There just seems to be onward momentum. I'm noticing, Warren Buffett, I keep a close eye on him. I'm not saying he's into gold, but he's into cash at the moment. And there's a lot of structural issues that the world's going to see change, I think, over the next couple of months. And gold's going to be a safety mechanism.
Anything within the metals as a sector, Peter, that catches your eye? Because we've seen silver prices kind of wanting to break that 33 mark, but we haven't seen that happen. And for metals as well, every rally is getting slightly sold into.
Yeah, true. I think silver, that's the unsung hero, and it's still plenty of upside, Manisha. We all understand from a demand picture, we understand what from a capex over the last 2 decades, underinvestment across the whole asset class. So that's really going to, I think, ignite it very strongly. $40 has got to be, if gold goes to 32.50, silver's going to be off as well. And then you're looking at the assets. I'm thinking, copper's had a nice run. It's nearly at 9,500. It's shown some really nice moves to the upside, and probably the best part of the market at the moment, some of those industrials. But as I said, you can't make a dollar out of crude. It just seems to be no attraction there, and some of these base metals are performing nicely.
And what's your also sense on the dollar index right now? I mean, we've seen a good amount of profit taking come in for this one. Looks like the markets have digested the fact that perhaps we'll see more conversation on tariffs rather than more tariffs being implemented. Having said that, what's your sense on the dollar index range going forward?
Well, I think it's going to probably test 106. I wouldn't be surprised to take that one out over the next week or two. Just seems that downdraft from 109.60, 109.70, and it's just becoming just a softer trade at the moment. So, again, that whole US dollar softness, that's going to push gold up even harder. And I'm just, again, you're waiting for the numbers to drop, inflation numbers, what the Fed policy is going to be, and so much, geopolitical concerns and, economic situations, the likes of Germany over the weekend. All of these fabrics just wash into the market.
Peter, I would also want to get your sense on the crude oil prices because we seem to be trending on a range here. 2.7% of a decline on Friday was huge, but on Monday and then Tuesday today, we're looking at some buying coming back into this space. Here as well, there's just so much stuff whiplashing, whether it's about conversation with Russia, what would OPEC and allies do, the tariffs, Iran, and then Iraq. There's just so much happening. What are you picking up your cues from?
Well, you summarised it beautifully because there is so much happening, and this is the issue. You know, when President Trump, we're never short of news. So the other side, of course, is going to be where that all, I think, works through the market. And the market is just going to see, again, sell-offs, whipsawing, and I think opportunity, but it's short-term trading. It's really, you know, picking up a percent move here, a couple of cents there. There's no really big blowouts in the sense of, you know, $70 to $80. That just is not happening at the current time. So I wouldn't be surprised crude to take a little bit further softness.
And where do you see do you see 70 breaking on the lower side?
Yeah, NYMEX, absolutely. I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised 68, 69. President Trump wants to also get that Keystone pipeline. He wants to get that now. And, you know, all of those, I assume his interactions with the energy market is just, you know, he just wants to pump crude and turn that, you know, US to being an economic powerhouse as far as energy, Manisha.
Oh, well, absolutely, yes. With the kind of conversations and rhetoric coming in from there, yes, some further pressure on crude perhaps is the way to go. Peter, as always, thank you so much for joining in with your sense, of course, on cricket and many of those commodities as well. Well, with that, that's all the time that we have on the show. But on the other side of the break, Business Lunch will take all the action forward.